Ladies and gentlemen, the 2024 presidential election is nearing ever closer. And as we get closer to November, where we will cast our votes to find out who is going to be running our country for the next 4 years, we pretty much know that there's going to be some kind of shenanigans, seeing as how we got the shadow campaign to save the election in 2020. And mind you, that is not me saying that. That is a Time magazine article saying that, where they stated there was a shadow campaign to save the 2020 election from Donald Trump, and they themselves called it a conspiracy. So we, the American people, have been wondering pretty much every day, what's it going to be this year? Well, I think we may well have just uncovered some of the scandals, some of the attacks that they are planning, they being the Democrats, of course, for the 2024 election. With this story from End Wokeness, this post on X from End Wokeness, holy ish. Family-friendly show, guys. The number of voters registering without a photo ID is skyrocketing in 3 key swing states: Arizona, Texas, and Pennsylvania. Since the start of 2024, Texas has seen 1,250,710. Pennsylvania has seen 580,513. Arizona has seen 220,731. HAVV allows voters to register with a Social Security number with the last 4 digits of their Social Security number. Illegals are not able to get licenses there, but they can get Social Security cards for work authorization permits, which they are currently receiving from the federal government when they are released into the country from Border Patrol. Now, what is HAVV? So, when you click on this little link right here in Wokeness's post, you come upon this website right here. This is the Social Security Administration website, which goes over Help America Vote Verification, which is HAVV. Now, these numbers are accurate, but I want to show you all of these attempts, or all of these requests from people in these states to be registered to vote. Every single one of these is using Social Security, is using their Social Security number, not a photo ID. So it would be very easy for illegal immigrants to abuse this and to register to vote. Now, personally, I don't necessarily know if that is how this is going, or if that is how this is being done, because to me, it would seem a little difficult for people to, get everybody together and organize all of them to all register to vote all at one time. Because as you can see from this right here, for example, they put out these numbers on a weekly basis. Okay, so for example, the week ending February 17th, for example, okay, because this just so happened to be a particularly large week where we're seeing a large spike. This isn't the only one, okay? It's been pretty much every single week with these particular states. For example, Arizona saw 31,706 transactions. Then you scroll down here to Pennsylvania. They saw 62,299. Texas saw 219,323 transactions. These are people who are trying to register to vote, not using a photo ID, but only using the Social Security number that they have received from the government. And as we just saw from this post, illegal immigrants are being given from the federal government, from Border Patrol, they are being given Social Security numbers in order for them to get work authorization permits. Guys, this very well could be the shadow campaign that we have been looking for. Now, what I am very interested in is this number right here in the state of Texas. this number right here, if those of you who cannot see it, you might not be able to see it, but I'm looking at this number, 4,559. I'm gonna zoom in as much as I can. Okay, that's probably a little bit better. 4,559. Now, mind you, this is 1 week. 1 week, okay? 4,559 single match deceased. Now, I'm going to scroll right on down here and we can read what single match deceased means. Right here, single match found deceased. The total number of verification requests where there is only one match in our records on name, date of birth, and last 4 digits of the social security number. And the number holder is deceased. Meaning that this person, these 4,559 people who tried to register to vote are dead. And they wonder why we don't trust our elections. And they wonder why. Oh, my goodness. 4,559 deceased people. Now, it very well could be that all of these people were, they went to the mailbox. They put in their registration, or they put into the mailbox their registration to be sent off for them to be registered to vote. And as soon as they put it in the mailbox, they drop dead. And that's it. And then whenever by the time it reached the Social Security Administration, it came back that, now they're dead. But let's be honest, seeing as how we're seeing this 4,000 number every single week, I'm going to go ahead and guess and say that that's not happening. I can show you even more. Let's go so I was just on February 17th. Let's go to February 24th. And we have, actually, those states do not show up on that week. Let's do February 10th. Arizona, 41,557. Then you scroll down to Pennsylvania, 66,000. Texas, 218,000. And once again, we are seeing that massive number of deceased people who are apparently from the grave registering to vote. Now, this is my guess, and I could be wrong. We're going to go over some different alternatives that this could be in just a second. But my guess, guys, is that this is the shadow campaign. In my opinion, that is what this is. You don't get 4,450 deceased people registering to vote, okay? And mind you, this is not the Social Security Administration, this is not states going through the voter rolls and finding dead people to remove from the voter rolls. No. These are only new registration applications. Okay, that's what HAVV does, is they send new registration applications to the Social Security Administration. That is what this does. This is not old voter rolls. This is only new applications. 4,450 dead people in the week of February 10th, 2024. I believe this is the shadow campaign. Now, strangely enough, another state that was not mentioned in the post from End Wokeness is Missouri. In this week that I mentioned, the 10th of February, 26,148. Okay. Now, total matches that they found, 24,241 transactions. Okay. That's for total matches. Okay. And then they're not seeing, none of these states are quite seeing the amount of dead people registering to vote as Texas is. Guys, I got to be honest with you. I don't think that the Democrats are pushing for swing states. I don't. All of the polls have been showing lately that Donald Trump is very likely going to win the majority of the swing states. Okay. However, if Texas flips blue, which, let's be honest, it's not been it hasn't really been a swing state, but with some shenanigans, it very easily could become one. Okay. It could very easily flip if we're not careful and we don't do our due diligence. But here we are. We're seeing the shenanigans right here. 4,450 dead people registering to vote on February in the week of February 10th. Guys, this is, excuse me, goodness, I'm fighting a sneeze. Guys, this is dangerous. Because if Texas flips, you know Biden's going to win California. You know he's going to win New York. The other very large state with a lot of electoral votes is the state of Texas. I believe, I could be wrong about this, I believe that if Missouri were to flip, then that would give Biden the votes that he would need. If all the polls are right, Biden wins all the states he's supposed to win. Trump wins all the states he's supposed to win. If Texas and Missouri flip, I believe that would give Joe Biden the win. That would give him the presidency. Now, ultimately, a lot of people are not really thinking about that. They're not really thinking about the state. A lot of Republicans are not worried about the state of Texas flipping. They're not worried about Missouri flipping. Okay? A lot of Republicans are not really thinking about these states. But I believe that Democrats could be using shenanigans to go after states that people aren't really paying attention to because they're not really worried about them. And then on election night, you get a big flip in Texas. And then you get Missouri that goes for Biden, and Biden wins. Guys, this is the importance of paying attention. Now, I personally believe that this could very well be the shadow campaign that the Democrats are attempting to push to try to steal the election, as we have seen that they did in 2020 with the shadow campaign of 2020, where they outright admitted that they had a conspiracy to, quote unquote, save the election from Donald Trump, when in reality, they claim to love democracy, but clearly they don't if they have to save the election, when in reality it's stealing. They stole the election. That's exactly what it is. Okay. Now, I do want to go down and I want to share this with you because I do believe that this very well could be the shadow campaign, but I do want to give everyone this information to share that it might not be, okay? There's a small chance, in my opinion, that it's not, okay? And it's because of this information right here from Scott Pressler. He shares I want to give it a little bit more explanation. Scott Pressler is someone who goes all over the country. He registers people to vote. He's very good at what he does. If anybody knows voting and voter laws and the way that things work in terms of our elections, it's him, okay? He knows basically better than everybody, okay? So he's kind of the know-all when it comes to elections, okay? He's very good at what he does. So Scott Pressler shared this post. He said, people need to also understand that you do not need a photo ID to register to vote. In order to register to vote, you either need a driver's license or the last four of your social security number. If someone does not have a driver's license, they use the social security number. For voter registration, there is also a box that voters must check to indicate they are American citizens, okay? As someone who registers voters across the country, I know this information firsthand. Furthermore, we are also registering a lot of Amish to vote. The Amish do not have photo ID. I am not saying these numbers reflect Amish voter registration. The information above just serves to point to other ways people may register to vote. I have reached out to 2 congressmen about this issue. Now, I want to say, for voter registration, there is also a box that voters must check to indicate they are American citizens. Now, I'm going to be totally honest with you. I have no idea the security level on something like that. Okay, I don't have that level of information. Like, for example, if someone able to just check that box and that's it, like the Social Security Administration just automatically believes them and it's like, okay, well, they checked the box, okay, I guess they're American citizen. Or does the Social Security Administration in their system have it where if they're not a citizen, then it automatically pings it and they don't get their voter registration? I have no idea. I really, truly have no idea how the system works. And that right there is exactly why this scares me. And that is why this is being brought up as something that is scary for American citizens to think about. This is why people are worried this could be the shadow campaign for Democrats to try to steal the 2024 election from Donald Trump. Ultimately, they know Joe Biden's not inspiring anybody. He's a freaking corpse. He is a walking corpse. Everyone in there, there's been multiple polls that have come out showing that even Democrats don't think he's going to survive a second term. I believe it was over like 68%, 70-something percent of Democrats. These are registered Democrats said that they did not believe Joe Biden would survive a second term in office. Yet, so ultimately, I do not believe that Democrats think that they can win this election fairly. I don't believe that they think that. I truly don't. And so what you get is this shadow campaign. I believe there was a Rolling Stones article recently that said that Joe Biden was creating fortifications against Donald Trump in order to keep Donald Trump from stealing the election. Really? Are we really worried about Donald Trump stealing the election when Donald Trump's not the one in power right now? Guys, ultimately, things like this are why the American people do not trust our elections anymore. Now, this is something that very well could have been settled in the Supreme Court back during 2020 when you had the lawsuit from the state of Texas against the state of Pennsylvania. And many other states signed on to this lawsuit to try to get the Supreme Court to hear this case and to answer the question of, hey, these guys illegally changed their laws. They changed the laws. They changed their election laws in a way that went against their own state constitution. And because they did that, they have now affected the way that our presidential election has gone. Now, the presidential election affects the other states. And so the state of Texas and many other states signed on to the lawsuit. They sued the state of Pennsylvania, or at least they tried to. The Supreme Court refused to hear a single argument from the case. They refused. And so, we didn't get an answer. We didn't get a ruling. We didn't get an answer. We got nothing as the American people. Because these Supreme Court justices were cowards and they didn't want to do their job. So, here we are, 4 years later, 2024, and people still don't trust our elections because of things like this, because we never got answers, because we see the Time magazine article saying that telling us about the 2020 shadow campaign to save the election, because we see the Rolling Stone articles talking about how Joe Biden is actively creating obstacles in order to keep Donald Trump from stealing the election. Guys, the 2024 election is upon us. I personally believe that there will be shenanigans. There's going to be shenanigans. But guys, it's just like we saw in New Hampshire. It's no different than what we saw in New Hampshire, okay? Like I said, like we saw with Scott Pressler, it very well could be that the Social Security Administration, they weed out all of the people who are non-citizens, and then this is just a massive wave of American citizens registering to vote, okay? Now, we know that the vast majority of Americans don't actually vote. The majority of Americans don't. They don't vote, okay? So this very well could be that just a lot of Americans are wanting to get registered to vote, especially in the state of Texas, okay? There's 30 million people that live in the state of Texas. As the token Texan here, okay, you know, I live in Texas. There's 30 million people that live in this state, okay? So the idea that a million people could register to vote it's not out of the question, okay? So I'm not trying to ruffle any feathers here. I'm not trying to cause anybody some strife or make anybody worried. It's just a question. It's something that we should be focused on. We should not take these polls that we've been seeing for granted. Because let's be honest, all of the polls recently are almost all in Trump's favor. They're almost all in favor of the Republican Party. But I want each and every one of you to remember the 2022 red wave that never was. Back in 2022 midterm elections, we expected to see a red wave, and it just didn't happen. And I think a part of the reason why is because Republicans saw all the polls, they saw all the reports, they saw all the news articles saying that a red wave is coming, and then they just said, oh, well, okay, hey, the red wave's coming. I guess I don't need to go vote. Guys, you cannot get complacent. Register your friends. Register your family. All of them to vote. And then on election day, or you can go early vote. Don't really care. Don't care. Early voting on election day, don't care. Just go vote. And for all the doomers out there, the black-pilled people out there that tell me, oh, voting doesn't matter, that's bullcrap. It's bullcrap. Because we saw the shenanigans that the Democrats tried to pull in New Hampshire with the primary elections, where a ton, just thousands of Democrats, I believe it was like 70% of the votes that Nikki Haley received in the New Hampshire primary election were Democrats. These were Democrats who had switched parties in the primary election in order to try to defeat Trump, in order to try to give Nikki Haley the win over Donald Trump in the New Hampshire primary election. And it failed. It failed. These people got absolutely destroyed. 70% of the Nikki Haley votes were from Democrats. And they failed. You want to know why? I've said it multiple times on this show. Multiple times. They failed because Republicans, Trump supporters, MAGA supporters, the people who actually support this country, who love this country and want patriotism to come back to our government and come back to our society, they got off their butts, they got their family and their friends registered to vote, and on election day, they showed up and they overwhelmed the system. So that, the Democrats, they tried to pull some shenanigans, but the system was so overwhelmed with people showing up to vote for Donald Trump that it didn't matter. Guys, we can do that again on a larger scale in a general election. But you cannot get complacent. You got to continue to fight. Metaphorically, not literally, not physically, metaphorically. Chill the frick out, YouTube. Okay? Metaphorically, you got to continue to fight. You got to continue to push forward. You got to continue to get people registered to vote. Get yourself registered to vote. Hey, if you want to see, $1.80 gas again, or $2.30 gas again. You want to see grocery prices go down. You want to see inflation go down. You want to see interest rates go down. You want to be able to afford a home one day. Gen Z, I'm looking at you. We're the ones all, trying to buy a house. All the other generations, they got their homes. We would love to be able to purchase a home one day, okay? I was lucky. I'm lucky enough to have a really good job. That's why I was able to afford a home. But I can tell you this, I have a really good job and I could barely afford my home. Barely. And I live in the state of Texas, which has a really good housing market. I can't imagine somebody who lives in California, New York, any of these Democrat-run states. It's insane. Tennessee has a really hot, my goodness, hit the microphone there. Tennessee has a really hot market. Florida has a really hot market. I live in the state of Texas, which is a really good housing market, and I could barely afford my home. Barely. Guys, Gen Z, if you want to be able to afford a home one day, if you want to be able to live in an economy where you can actually afford groceries, which I don't think that's too much to ask for, then you got to get registered to vote. You got to get your family and your friends registered to vote. And on election day, you vote Donald Trump. You overwhelm the system. And you defeat these shenanigans from the Democrats. You defeat the shadow campaign to save the election. It's to steal the election. That's what they're doing. I don't know, man. I don't know where we go from here. I'm not an oracle. I'm not a prophet. I can't see into the future. But I don't know, man. I don't know. I really don't know. Because the American people have a choice to make. What will we choose? Will we just continue to believe the polls and say, oh, well, I guess it's already won. I guess I don't have to go vote. No, you have to go vote, man. You got to. If you don't, you're just risking it. You're just giving more time. You're giving more opportunity to the shadow campaign to take the election from you. I don't know, man. I don't know. Which way will we go, modern America? Which choice will we make? I don't know. We will see in November, I guess. I'm going to leave it there. I'll have another video coming for you guys tomorrow. Thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure you hit that like button, subscribe, leave a comment down in the comment section, and share the show with your friends. Follow me on all the socials down in the description, and hit that notification bell so that you can be notified whenever we put out new videos. And I will see you guys in the next one. Guys, love your family, love your friends. Stay safe out there, protect your families, and God bless.